Noah Lyles, the reigning Olympic 100-meter champion, undefeated outdoors in 2026, returning to the city where he became the fastest man on Earth, Marcel Jacobs. The man who held that title before him, the Tokyo Olympic champion. They are lining up again in Paris, and this time everything is different. The meeting de Paris at Stade Sébastien Charletti is the 8th stop on the 2026 Wanda Diamond League season. This is one of the most important single-day meets in global athletics. The city has meant everything to both athletes at different points in their careers. For Jacobs, Paris was where the dream faded. In June 2023, the world billed a Lyles versus Jacobs showdown at this same Charletti stadium. Jacobs crossed in 7th place in 10.21 seconds. Lyles won in 9.97. That result told a brutal story about where each man stood at the time. For Lyles, Paris eventually became something far bigger. On August 4, 2024, at the Stade de France, he set a personal best of 9.79 seconds to win Olympic gold by 0.005 of a second over Jamaica's Kishane Thompson. It was the first American gold in the men's 100 meters since 2004. It was the race of his life in the city that made him a legend. Now, 2 years after that Olympic night, Lyles is back in Paris. He is unbeaten outdoors in 2026. He has already run 9.88 seconds this season to win the Rome Diamond League on June 4th, making him the world leader at that time. He then went to Ostrava and set a world best of 14.67 seconds over 150 meters. He looks like a sprinter who is building towards something very large. To understand what Sunday means for Jacobs, you need to understand where he came from. Born in El Paso, Texas, to an American military father and an Italian mother, Jacobs was raised in Rome. He spent his early career as a long jumper. He did not commit to sprinting until 2019. His 100-meter personal best that year was 10.03 seconds. Nobody outside Italy had heard of him. Then, at the delayed Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games in 2021, Jacobs ran one of the greatest surprise performances in the history of the event. He clocked 9.80 seconds in the final, a new European record, to win Olympic gold. Italy had never won the Olympic men's 100-meter title before. Jacobs also anchored Italy to relay gold days later. It was a moment that redefined what anyone knew about European sprinting. He was 26 years old. He had been a serious sprinter for just over 2 years, and he was the fastest man on the planet. That title did not last long. The years between Tokyo and Paris were filled with injuries and missed starts. He pulled out of multiple Diamond League meets in 2021 and 2022 due to fatigue and a knee problem. He reached the World Championship semifinals in Oregon in 2022, but withdrew before the next round. Critics questioned whether his Tokyo performance was a one-time event. He changed coaches. He moved his family to Jacksonville, Florida, to train under Rana Ryder, the same coach who worked with Trayvon Bromell and Andre DeGrasse. He rebuilt from scratch. In June 2024, at the European Championships held at the Stadio Olimpico in Rome, he won the 100-meter title for the second time in front of his home crowd. He arrived at the Paris Olympics as a rebuilt athlete, quietly dangerous. At Paris 2024, Jacobs ran a season-best 9.85 seconds in the final, finishing 5th in one of the deepest Olympic sprints in history. He left Paris without a medal, but showed, across 3 rounds of racing, that he could still compete with the best sprinters on Earth when healthy. That is the most important thing his 2024 campaign proved. He belongs in these fields. The question heading into 2026 is whether he can show it again on a bigger stage against the man who replaced him. Coming into the 2026 Paris Diamond League, Jacobs is ranked 30th in the world in the 100 meters, with a personal best of 9.80 seconds. His 2026 season best heading into Paris is 9.99 seconds, run in Rome on June 4th, where he finished 5th. That result was described by some reporters as an encouraging sign given his history of injuries. He has not been in the conversation for the podium at major championships in recent seasons. He is ranked 27 places below Lyles in the current world standings. On paper, he is not the favorite in Paris, but Jacobs has never needed the world to see him coming. That was exactly his advantage in Tokyo. He works best as the underdog. He has said publicly that being overlooked actually helps his preparation. He told the Associated Press before the Paris 2024 Olympics, in a quote that defined how he moves through competition. "It's good because I can stay under the radar. I can do my preparation, my race, without thinking about what the other people think about me. That is the Jacobs mindset. Low noise, maximum output. This is not a two-man race." The Paris field adds several layers of danger. Trayvon Bromell enters with a 2026 season best of 10.01 seconds and a personal best of 9.76 seconds. Ferdinand Omanyala of Kenya owns a personal best of 9.77 seconds, the fastest in the field on paper, and a 2026 season best of 9.94 seconds. Akani Simbine of South Africa, who finished fourth at the Paris 2024 Olympics in a South African record of 9.82 seconds, enters with a 2026 season best of 9.98 seconds. Jordan Anthony, who defeated Lyles at the USATF Indoor Championships in March, is also in the field with a 2026 season best of 9.91 seconds. And waiting above all of them on the world list is Jamaica's Seville, who ran a world-leading 9.82 seconds on June 19th at the Jamaican Championships to claim his first national title. Seville is not in Paris, but he is the shadow over this entire race. The reigning world champion set 9.82 and is not even here. That fact frames everything about what the men in this field need to prove. Lyles arrived in 2026 as the Olympic champion and has backed it up with strong early season results. His 9.88 in Rome was the world lead at the time. However, Seville subsequently ran 9.82 at the Jamaican Championships, moving ahead of Lyles on the 2026 world list. Lyles enters Paris as the world number 3 in the 100 meters. He is clearly in strong form and undefeated outdoors this season. But Seville's 9.82 reminds everyone that holding the Olympic title and leading the world list are two different things. Lyles will need to run fast in Paris if he wants to close that gap and signal he is ready for the World Athletics Ultimate Championship in Budapest in September. He has now won at Stade Charlotte twice before, including the 9.97 in 2023 and his 19.65 in the 200 meters in 2019. Paris has been kind to him. The question is whether his 2026 form can reach the level that Seville just set. Everything on the Diamond League circuit in 2026 points toward one destination. The inaugural World Athletics Ultimate Championship in Budapest in September is the first major outdoor championship of this new event format and the most important meet of the year. Named an ultimate star for September's Budapest Championship, Noah Lyles enters the June 28 Paris Diamond League, aiming to extend a perfect season and solidify his status as the man to beat. Every 2026 race serves as a warning shot, and a win here keeps his name ahead of Seville in the pre-Budapest discourse. For Marcel Jacobs, Paris is a pivotal audition. The Tokyo Olympic champion thrives on championship stages, yet he must prove he belongs in the elite conversation again. His fifth-place 9.99 in Rome confirmed his comeback is ongoing, but Paris offers a chance to make a definitive statement. In a field where 6 sprinters boast personal bests under 9.90 seconds, the gap between success and obscurity is a mere hundredth of a second. This race is impossible to predict, but the narrative is clear. Lyles seeks to maintain his untouchable form, while Jacobs looks to prove he hasn't finished making history. Track and field has always made room for the underdog who wasn't supposed to be there, and Jacobs has lived that truth before. Paris settles the score.